Hello, we're here at Optimum's 17th Annual Healthcare Investor Conference, where we've just had the third panel of the day. Our panellists were asking a tough question, how to thrive in tough times. And these are tough times, but many companies are still growing. So how are they doing so, and what are the strategies they're using, not to survive, but to flourish?
So what can be done to help companies grow in the UK? Well, I think the UK infrastructure is fantastic. Things like the Catapult network, where the Cell Therapy Catapult provides infrastructure to support the growth of small companies from lab space and now through digitisation. But I think also health data is a massive asset that we have in the UK. So I'm excited to see what happens with HDRS and how that can potentially make data available more easily to organisations.
It's effectively my job in Cambridge to try and grow our companies, and I tend to think about it of what I'm doing is trying to think about how do I create the right place and environment. So I do actually, how do we get companies together on the right campuses with close to the right facilities. We absolutely think about data, which is why I've taken over the secure data environment. How do we get them the data to allow them to apply AI to that? Also think about how do we link them to the right funding. We heard about in our panel about the funding available in China. How do we make it easy for them to access that and create the connections to investors? And finally, companies thrive on talent. So how do we get the right talent into those companies, make it an attractive place to live? I worry about housing and roads and things like that as much as I do about the science. And also how do we creating apprenticeship schemes and routes to market so actually young people can find their way into these wonderful companies.
So the traits of a company that succeeds and thrives, in my opinion, I think you need to be very cash conservative right now in these tough and difficult times. Got to be very focused on executing the programs that you have in your pipeline. And from a small biotech standpoint, always be out there talking to investors, but also, as importantly, talking to pharma companies and their BD activities to try and get them to partner with you eventually.
Great. And from a life science tools perspective, I think first of all, is recognise that we're kind of in a strange markets now where there's always a crisis every year, not just every 5 years. So we've got to plan differently and be agile when we're in that environment as well. And then really it's about having a strategy, a structure and a process and sticking to it as best you can for that consistency internally for the troops and making sure that they're all focused on the same common goal.